Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I'm back being joined once again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, Fluff.
Sure.
What's going on, y'all?
What up, beautiful people?
And that buzzard is great. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not, but hey, with that being said, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. Today's matchup is Finn, one of the newer leaders from Set 15, taking on Xeno Gogeta. It is Jimmy playing Kevin. Kevin's not here to join us today on the video, but you see, Kevin has a new mat.
Yeah. He won a shop championship. It was crazy.
Yeah. Unfamiliar mat whatsoever. Don't know who that belongs to, but let's get into it.
Yeah, this man can buy a $2,000 Dragon Ball collection, but can't buy a damn mat. Shout out to my boy.
We don't have to mention that every video. It doesn't have to come up every time.
So I want to preface this. This has been without the Voucher the Creator promos, which is one of the key pieces in making the deck run smoothly. One of the other key pieces of making this deck run smoothly is running non-Mirror Overwhelm cards, which I did not include any, other than the Mass Saiyan that I believe comes down in this game. So I was... basically, half of my engine was turned off for majority of the games that I played. But still, the deck is fairly potent. I know there was some confusion with rulings on whether or not it's a skillless unison or a unison card, but if you have a above, 5th grade reading level, you would know that it has to be a skillless unison, which does make a lot of the cards a little bit harder to play, but if you sequence your stuff right, it's still a very potent package. Jake, you've had some experience playing against this, so you can throw in some of your thoughts as well.
So the free removal of Finn is where I think it really shines. The fact that it doesn't have a lot of restrictions to it. I mean, even though your opponent gets those cards back, essentially, you're turning on your own cards with them. And I think we mentioned this earlier in the week, especially if your opponent has an arrival-based deck or another deck where they're spending a lot of resources per battle card, like a fusion list or something. Finn becomes even more powerful because it's eating away resources in hand, in addition to getting those battle cards off the table for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what's so important on the front side of Finn that made you swing first and then take the card afterwards?
So the front side, you get a draw on swing. To maximize draws, you want to swing with your leader first, get the draw, then activate, absorb the card. You get a draw for flipping your leader over using your alternate awaken. And then you can once again activate main on the backside to draw an additional card, which I think I forgot to activate main on the backside, which you can rewind the video and find out if I did or not. But to maximize your awakening turn draws, you want to swing with your unawakened leader first, because there is no advantage to swinging on the backside other than gaining the keyword skill. But the only keyword skill I could gain was blocker off of the 6-drop Gogeta. So it really didn't help me all that much.
Oof. Nasty, man.
Yeah, again, this is part of what makes Finn so potent, is that pretty much nothing on your battle area, unless it's barrier outside of the 8-drop Finn, nothing is really safe, because Finn can take anything pretty much, and you have a unison absorber to snatch unisons, which in this I did get to use the combo effect. Most of the time, players are comboing off their skillless cards, so you don't get access to the cheap play. You just have to slam him for 2, which sucks, but still, you get to snag a unison out of it. It's just 2-drop unison removal, pretty much. So I was explaining him to here that that if he KOs Finn, he will not get his unison back. It will just go to the drop area, or warps Finn, I should say. That he would not get his unison back, but at the end of the turn, he would get it back, but it's skillless, and it would proc some of my effects. So it was in his best interest to actually warp off Finn.
Especially with the way Gogeta could work, because he all he has to do is overwhelm, put it back in his warp, and then use a Kai effect, which I know he charged to Kai, but as long as it's a Kai in his warp, use it to replay the unison. So it's not actually a bad play to do that with this
for
deck.
sure. No. So something to think about with Finn, and I've been saying this for a little while. Finn gets stronger the stronger your opponent's deck is. So the more high-powered battle cards with good keyword skills you can snatch, the better your deck is. So being able to snatch a thwarting off of his field, I get to gain double strike off of it. I get to get 5k because of putting it under my leader card, so I have a 20k double striker as a leader now. If he were to play SS4 thwarting on me, which I do not believe he includes in this deck, I can gain triple attack off of it. So the stronger my opponent's cards are, the stronger my deck is.
Which is a really interesting spot to be in.
Yeah. Because I mentioned it to the guys earlier that I played against some of our newer players with the less optimized decks, and I had a much harder time playing against those opposed to the playing with the main group with our very optimized decks. I had a much easier time in those matchups because I was able to get a lot of the power from them. So it really puts Finn in a weird place, and it's hard for me to say if it's a very good deck or not. I'm still experimenting with it, and I have a lot of fun with it, but I don't know if it can withstand like a tournament setting.
How do you think Finn would fare against a deck like SS4 Bardock or AOD, where they're just like crapping out a bunch of little battle cards with not a lot of skills on them?
So something like AOD gets a lot of its effects on play, so I'm not really doing anything by negating their skills because they're essentially skillless battle cards after that point. But Finn does have access to stuff like Absorption of Doom, which is a very good floodgate. Allows them to only attack 2 more times in a turn, so can kind of ease the aggression that a deck like that can put out. In the case of SS4 Bardock, most of them are running SS4 Thwarting the Dark Empire, so that's my main snatch target, and basically puts my opponent off of playing that card because they know if they can't kill me with it, then I have a likely chance of killing them with it.
And there's ways to put battle cards under your leader during their turn as well, right?
Yeah, so
it's not even perfectly safe then.
Yeah, exactly. And something to note on the activate main on the backside, that when you activate main on your turn, you just choose a keyword skill on a card under, not the card that you use to snatch with. So if I were to use Skill Hunter Toa to put a card under my leader, like if I put the, I can't target the thwarting because it's not a 4 or less, but let's say hypothetically as a 4 or less double striker, and I put Skill Hunter Toa under, or put the card under my leader, then snatched another card, I could choose the card that I targeted with Toa. So this Deborah right here is one of the stronger cards in the deck because it's basically a 1-drop 20k that draws you a card as long as your opponent has a skillless battle card or unison in play, which is really, really good. Like, no matter what you look at it, of course, a lot of the times your opponent can play around it by comboing off cards, or if they have a Spirit Boost heavy deck, they can Spirit Boost to give skills back to their unison. So there is ways of your opponent stopping you from playing this, but when you get to play it, it feels really good.
It was really strong in our matchup.
Mm-hmm. Which you were playing the U6 Kaba package. So yeah, you were playing a very battle card heavy deck that really helped me out a lot. That goes back to, again, the more cards, or the more powerful cards your opponent plays, the more powerful your deck is. So if I remember correctly here, I was trying to combo up so I could put a Masked Saiyan on field, a secret ID.
Clean up all the drops with that.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I mistakenly did not put any cheap overwhelm in the deck to be able to fill up my drop for my Miras fast enough. Which luckily he was nice enough to play Thwarting the Dark Empire on me and put a Toa in my warp, which helped me tremendously.
Yeah, because you need that there for your effects. That's right.
Yeah. Which I actually got really hyped when it happened. I didn't tell him then, but I was like, yes, please play Thwarting the Dark Empire on me, please. Or it wasn't Thwarting Dark Empire, it was the other Gogeta that put the Toa in my warp.
The blocker?
Yes, the blocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you clean up his one drops, left his skill list there for you to still maximize on your other card effects, but then you attacked it?
Yeah, just clear the whole board up.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, because I knew I was going to get the skill list back with the thwarting.
True, yeah.
So I thought I don't want to deal with a 25k attacker and a 16k attacker, especially because I'm at 3 life at this point. So I felt it was best just to clear the board and leave that one skill list to advantage off of.
This secret ID should leave the table too, right?
Yeah, we catch it.
Okay.
I was too mad at myself because it was this game that I was realizing that I didn't put my cheap overrealms in.
Charging a Deborah. Interesting.
Demigra.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Deborah.
Well, there's a Deborah in play, so...
No, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Demigra charge, it did feel like a weight off my shoulders because Demigra is a wall to get over. Of course, I can take it, but still, the turn that it comes down, it gets enough advantage that, you know, if it sticks around, it's just gravy at that point.
It's a card in field and in hand overall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would...
and then they get to plus a card in their hand as well, so... it's well worth the 2 energy spent on it.
But I do see the perks of having that overwhelm instead to play this next card, I think.
Yeah. So there was some confusion here because he was trying to play another Thwarting the Dark Empire, which the card is unique. And he was confused because he thought that both cards had to have unique, even though the other one was skillless, but it checks for the card name and not the skill itself.
It's all right.
So he's.
I think that's a better option, anyways.
Yeah.
100%. 100%, because I did tell him after that if he left the thwarting, it would have been. Which I do think he does play another thwarting in this game, or this turn. Spoiler alert. But I can't get double strike off of the other thwarting because it has its skills negated. So if he left another one, it would have been, easy double strike. But he does decide to combo it off, which is the correct option.
Which, if I'm correct, Deborah only gets a draw if you have a skillless, right?
Correct.
No, the activate main is what requires the play of the card requires a skillless. It's just a auto limit 1 on swing draws a card.
Also, even if you have multiple copies, you're only going to get 1 draw.
Exactly, but still, 1 drop 20Ks is really good.
Yeah.
So to talk about Absorption of Doom, it's probably my favorite card of the archetype. So it's a negate that if your leader card is Finn and you have, which I think that was actually a misplay there because he did not have a skillless battle card in play. So that is my fault. I apologize. But they have a skillless battle card in play. They can only attack 2 more times in the turn.
I mean, it's still a negate.
Yeah, it's still a negate, yes.
Maybe he just chose to stop attacking you. You ever think about that one?
I mean, yeah, but that would be the wrong choice.
So here's pushing that double strike on you, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was really pressuring with the double strike here.
And it probably does break down to the thought process of, I can only attack 2 more times, let me maximize my attacks, where instead, it's the leader's activate main that makes those cards plus 10k?
Yes, the 1 drops, yes.
And I don't know if he has a Kai in hand, but he can easily make those 2/1 drops a 25k beater each without taking a life, and just apply pressure that way to you instead.
Yeah. And I did decide to take the 2 life there because, again, I was under the assumption that he can only attack 2 more times, and I had petrification off of the draw.
Yeah.
And you did warp the card out of hand for that counter.
I believe I catch it. If not, I remember he did remind me about it at one point.
I mean, like you said earlier, you learned that your deck was only like 60% complete. So it's like a cell with only a 17 instead of an 18 and 17. So going for this for the double strike aspect, right? No. Yeah, that has double strike.
Yes.
Knowing he has 2 life left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you're just going for this play instead. I see what you're doing.
So I was setting up the threat of the double strike because, I mean, why not? But the overall plan was to board Mira. So this Mira self-reformation, he is a double striker. He is deflect, and then he can absorb a Toa for my warp and play a 7-drop Mira on top of him. So and it plays in active mode, so I get the double strike from him, the double strike from my leader, and then the big double striker off of the 7-drop Mira once I union absorb. So these first couple of swings were just trying to pressure and get cards out of his hand because he is at 2 life at this point.
He's looking at a power burst. He's gonna pay for it instead. Okay. It's not a bad option.
Which I was very scared of a Kaya.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He should have taken the
Yeah,
life
he
for
could have
that one.
sparked it. Yeah, he could have sparked it.
And then he would have had the energy for that one.
And then he's only got a combo out of the Finn attack, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe because this is played with Union, Jimmy's going to get to rip 3 cards out of the hand.
Well,
Yeah, the opponent chooses the cards they warp out of hand.
which let's talk about this. This was something I think you used to play back in the day, but as time went on, it was just something you couldn't play with because there was no good decks for this engine. How do you feel playing it again?
It feels disgustingly good. Especially with the new promo, Mirror Vouch to the Creator, which we do not have yet. I don't even think they're legal in tournaments yet. I know they weren't legal at Nats. But it just makes this whole package feel so good to play. And Mirror Creator Absorbed, if you're not familiar with it, he is a 1-drop over round 4, 30,000, but we're playing him through Union Absorb. When he's played through Union Absorb, your opponent warps 3 cards out of their hand and he gains double strike, and then on swing, he gains 5,000 for every card in your warp. So he can become pretty much if your opponent...
Just over round 1.
Pretty much if your opponent does not negate, they are not comboing out of a Creator Absorb swing. It's been one of my favorite cards, one of my favorite packages since the Toa leader dropped, and I'm just super happy to have another leader that can facilitate that particular package.
So with the one minor misplay, and him not sparking the power burst at the end, I don't think there's anything he could have done because, like I said, you did have 2 mirrors coming at him, so you were pretty solid there. Don't know how that turn 4, I think it was, could have turned out on the other way around. But regardless, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind while Fluff does the outro, there's buttons down below and on the screen.
Yeah, check out one of these videos floating around up here. Hopefully it's something you haven't seen. It was awesome seeing Mira come back in. I don't think I've seen a game won by Mira swing since Brawly 8 format.
I was going to say set 8, yeah.
Yeah, like it's been a hot minute. Anyway, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and as always, fluff out.